Hello everyone, welcome to GR Golf. I am Jim and welcome to today's golf rules tip where we talk about areas of the golf course that are marked, such as yellow penalty areas represented by these yellow stakes, red penalty areas which are represented by the red stakes, and the out of bounds area on the golf course which is represented by the white stakes. These are common areas that we see marked on the golf course, and the purpose of this video is to talk about specifically where and when our ball is in these areas, and these stakes themselves, and some lines that will spray on the ground. Let's get to the action, and hopefully you'll learn something. Alright, on our channel, we have very detailed videos that talk about yellow penalty areas, red penalty areas, and out of bounds areas. Be sure to check those out. Today we're just going to talk about the stakes and the lines. Now, for all these areas, the stakes themselves are in their area, meaning they're not in the general area. For all of our talk here today, my general area is going to be over here to your left, my right. Again, the general area is over here. Our yellow, red, and out of bounds areas are over here. These stakes are always in their areas, and you always use the front edge of the stake at ground level. For example, if I have a stake that's really leaning like this, or the mowing guy hit it or something, I have to go here at ground level when deciding if my golf ball is in a penalty area or out of bounds. The same for all three areas. There's some differences though on that. So how we decide if our ball is in one of these areas, if we don't have any lines on the ground, we got to find the next stake in line, and you got to get down here and look, and then I can sight in right here at ground level the front of these stakes, draw a line here in my mind, and I can see that about half of my ball is on that line. Now, with yellow penalty areas and red penalty areas, as soon as my ball touches that line, I'm in those areas. Out of bounds areas, different though. The entire ball would have to be outside of that area. Again, at ground level, the general area side of the stakes, if my ball touches the line on these two areas, is considered in there, and I have to apply my options for those penalty area options, and then the entire ball must be on the other side of that line for my ball to be out of bounds. Now let's talk about the stakes themselves. In yellow penalty areas and red penalty areas, I can actually pick up and remove these stakes, like for example if it was in my backswing, and play my shot. After I'm done, of course, be respectful, put that stake back in the ground. Again, I could do that with yellow areas. I could do it with red areas. I'll demonstrate here. Even if that stake up there was in my line of play, I can pick them up, move them, and of course put them back. Now, you get over here to the out of bounds or the white stakes, you cannot touch them. You can't remove them for any reason. If you watch our rules video on out of bounds areas, it's very important that you try to avoid these guys. They're very, very penalizing. And another thing is too, if my ball's right there, like I said, I do not get free relief from this stake. So again, another reason to avoid out of bounds areas. Now let's talk about if you have lines sprayed on the ground and or lines and stakes. Often your golf course will go and mark out these areas with a nice yellow, red, or white line. Again, we'll talk about some differences here, but you can see I kind of did these intentionally, not in a straight line, and we'll talk about that. First of all, the margin of these areas, like the stakes, is always the front edge, meaning if the general area is over here, this front edge of this line, no matter how narrow they painted or how wide, the front edge is your margin. So example, this yellow penalty area, my ball is touching it, I'm in the yellow penalty area. Again, as soon as my ball touches the front edge of that line, I'm in a red penalty area. We get over here to the out of bounds area. In this scenario, my ball's touching the front edge, but it is not completely out of bounds. It's not completely past that. My ball is in play. Big difference with these areas. However, my ball could be on the line, just as it is here. That ball is out of bounds because the entire ball is past the front edge of that white line. Again, that takes care of how wide they would spray that line or mark it. Again, it's the front edge. If it touches yellow or red, it's in there. If the entire ball is past the front edge of that line, then it's out of bounds with the out of bounds areas. It's important to know that if you have lines sprayed on the ground and you have stakes, the line that's sprayed on the ground or marked on the ground always takes priority over these stakes in this situation, like we've illustrated here with both present. The stakes in this case are simply indicators. They just are letting you know this is a red penalty area, for example, out of bounds, or yellow. Again, you have to go by the line. For example, if they spray a line curved like this and your ball's right here, using the principle and lining up the stakes at ground level on the front edge, my ball would not be in that red penalty area, but because there's a line and stakes, I have to go by this line. My ball is definitely past the front edge of that line. My ball in this situation is in a red penalty area. The same is true for all these areas. So when they have both, my ball's out of bounds there because, yeah, it's inside at ground level, the front edge of the stakes, but because there's a line, the line always takes priority. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this has educated you on the margin of these areas. Be sure to check out the more detailed videos on our channel. Remember to smile often, have fun. God loves you. We will see you next time.